What's going on, everybody? So sorry we made you stay up a little later.
Thanks, Coach. Go ahead, D. Scott.
You're on mute, D. Scott. You're on mute. There we go.
Yeah, Coach, congratulations, first of all. That's a great win. What do you think the guys showed tonight? What do you think they proved?
He showed a lot of toughness. You know, they say offense sells tickets and defense wins games, but rebounding wins championships. And this is the first time that we've out-rebounded a team on both offensive and defensive rebounds. And, you know, I thought, they were a really good offensive team, and they were in a rhythm in the second half. It was the first time in the second half that our defense was better in the second half than the first, and it was away from our bench. So we grew up some there talking to each other. And, you know, so it's, I'm so proud of the guys and their resilience, their fight, their toughness.
What can you just say about Marquise's performance tonight?
Oh man, special. Only the fifth time in school history, 2010 game. And, you know, just the big plays after big plays. You know, big time players make big time plays and big time moments. And that was a big time moment for us. And he stepped up and his team trusted him.
I'm sorry, you got cut off.
I said, you know, big time players make big time plays and big time moments. And that was the big time moment for us. And he stepped up, made those plays, and his team trusted him.
And what kind of duo can he be with Keontae? They just seem like a pretty good 1-2 punch right now.
Yeah, you know, they were a great 1-2 punch tonight. You know, and I've said all along, my goal is that every night we have a different person, you know, who you guys are asking me these same type of questions about. And that way teams can't just lock in on a couple guys. But, you know, somebody must have said something to him about being from New York or something, because he was on one. Like, I mean, it was kind of cool.
Thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, Coach Tang, the last play of regulation, what are you trying to get out of that?
And we work on it every day in practice, you know, in the game situation. And, you know, we want a high ball screen, get Marquise going downhill, have guys crashing the glass, and give him an option to either make a shot or make a play for somebody else. And, you know, I liked our poise in that moment, and we were prepared for it.
Is your preference to get a shot on the interior in that situation?
Yeah, we want to live in the paint. And I you know, in the first half, we had 16 possessions where we got a paint touch, and we had a 1.9 OER. And then when we didn't get a paint touch, there were 7 of them that we didn't get a paint touch. We had a 0 OER. And so in the second half, every time we touched the paint, something good happened. And when in overtime, 5 to grind, last 5 minutes of the game, you know, teams that win, they get paint touches. And so it's something that we preach as a program, and the guys executed tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Go ahead, Kellis.
Hey, Jerome, congrats on the win. How much did you find yourself drawing up plays and dictating things to the sideline versus trusting the guys to just go out and win it as the game went on?
Now, you know, we had a couple of things, but we stuck to some stuff that we had been running and just put them in position to make plays. You know, they did a good job of starting to trap Marquise on some ball screens. And so then we took him off the ball and let him be a field guy and let some other guys attack the paint. But, you know, Keontae was going, Keith was going. They couldn't stop us. They were in foul trouble. We were in a double bonus. So we were going to try and isolate who we thought we had an advantage with and, you know, make them have to guard us. And so I thought the guys executed that well.
When you think back to when you first started coaching Marquise, how do you think he's improved the most from, you know, this summer to right now?
He's his poise. You know, he's learning how to stick to his habits in crucial situations rather than like making stuff up. And so, and it's easy to see it when he's making stuff up, and it's easy to see when he's operating within what we want to do. And so there have been more moments tonight. There were more moments tonight where he stuck with what we wanted to do rather than him making up his own stuff.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
Hey, thanks a lot, Kels. Appreciate you.
Okay, go ahead, Cole.
Hey, Coach. Yeah, Kellis kind of took my question, but when we talked at Big 12 Media Days, you talked about the difference between Marquise being a Lion and being a Tiger. How did you feel like he was in that aspect tonight?
Well, throughout the course of the game, I thought he was a Lion and he was with this group and, he got people the ball. But when we got to the end of regulation and overtime, that was time for him to be a Tiger and go eat what he kills. And he did a great job of it.
And then I was curious if you could talk a little bit about David. I know you got a little bit of foul trouble last night, but just how important has he been these last two games for you guys?
Man, David has been huge the last, especially today. I mean, he picked up the 2 early fouls, so he didn't get to play a lot in the first half. And but in the second half, his rim running, his ball screen roll, his ability to switch on ball screens and guard perimeter guys, came up with some big rebounds down the stretch, block shot. David was huge. He was huge for us. And I mean, when he, they denied everyone. He took the big fella from the top of the key and went to the rack, and he can do that. I mean, that's an advantage for us. And we're looking to see him do that more. We need to put him in more situations where he can do it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Cole.
Go ahead, Tim.
There we go. Last night you talked about how this team, the biggest thing that you guys have to improve on is learning each other on the court in situations like these and in new situations that you guys haven't been in. How big is that for that process to occur?
Yeah, no. Well, first of all, Nevada's a really good basketball team, right? They could be an NCAA tournament team, right? And so we learned a lot about what happens when teams go on runs on this and how we're going to handle it. Do we understand that it's a game of runs and we're going to make a run? That was huge. And trusting each other on defense and figuring out, where we can pick on people on offense. That's just all part of it. But you got to do it in close games like this in order to be able to really grow. And so, I mean, we are heading in the right direction. We got a ways to go, but we're heading in the right direction.
And then I know last night you said that you guys already had the scout done on Nevada. Is the same true of LSU? And if so, what can you guys tell us about it?
The scout's done. This is not going to be a scout game. This is a toughness game. It's both teams going to have to quick turn around and recover and come out tomorrow and rely on your habits. Pretty much like tonight. Rely on your habits, and they're gonna run some stuff that we're not going to be prepared for, and we want our habits to take over that we've worked on all summer long and since the start of the season, and it just the toughest team is going to win.
Thanks, Jerome. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, Tim.
Arnie.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about I think the charge that Keontae took there on
Will Baker
to get him out of the game. How big was that?
Man, huge, right? Huge. We that's something that we practice every day. Also, you fight the post, and then he bumps you one time, and then you hold your ground, and on the second bump, if he goes through you, you go down. And I mean, it was a huge play for us, and so man, the guys were making plays on both ends of the court, and real problem.
And you talked about the 5 to grind. The first 5 at the end of the regulation, it didn't go as well, but it seemed like you handled it better the second time. Was it nice to get a second shot at there?
Yeah, and once again, it's always better to learn wins. You enjoy that a lot more. But there's a lot to be learned about what we did in the first the last 5 minutes of the game because we took a lead in the last 5 minutes and then we gave it back. And so what can we take away from that? Whether it was dumb fouls or, allowing the ball to get to the paint or us not getting it to the paint and taking tough ones, so we're going to look at that 5 minutes and figure out what we can learn from it. But, in the overtime, I just thought like the toughest, we say this all the time, the toughest team is going to win and we were a tougher team tonight.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, D. Scott, go ahead. I think you had one more. You're
Right.
still on mute.
Hey, I was curious if you could maybe talk a little bit about the Kansas State fans. The Sandstorm was playing during your timeout. I heard that, and the fans are kind of going crazy. Just give me your thoughts on the K-State fans there at the Cayman Islands.
Man, our fans have been incredible. And when this goes, I hope one of our things, right, and I'm gonna talk about the fans second, but as a program, we're gonna play in Thanksgiving tournaments so that Christmas, our guys can go home for Christmas break. Okay, that's one of the things that's important to me, that they get to be with their families for Christmas. And for Thanksgiving, we're gonna pick tournaments on the islands, right? So I want our fans to start saving up and putting it on their calendar and stuff, because we got a great crowd here tonight. They were unbelievable. I didn't hear Sandstorm. I was locked in on the game, but you could hear them cheer. And everyone around has said we've had the best fans here. And so we need more. Like we want to take this show on the road and have a great time for Thanksgiving. So I want to invite everybody, Manhattan, to come on in Kansas City and wherever you're at. Let's meet up on the islands next Thanksgiving, and it's going to be in the Bahamas, and we're going to have a great time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that question.
Arnie, did you have something else?
All right, no, I just didn't lower my hand.
Okay, thanks, no problem. Coach, I think that's everything.
Hey, thanks, fellas. Go Cats.